Namaskar and welcome to our second episode of Talks on Life. Let us jump directly to the query that has been sent by Flavia. Flavia says, will I have to forgive someone in order to heal myself and be in peace with myself? Letting go or avoid to face the problem, it is the same. In order to be at ease with myself? Well, Flavia, firstly, reverse this question and then we will come, I think, nearer to the answer. You have asked, will I have to forgive someone in order to heal myself and be at peace with myself? When I attain peace of mind, when I am completely at ease with myself, only then can I forgive. And in that state, you don't have to make any effort also to forgive. So can I forgive? That question does not even arise. Forgiveness is natural then. It is spontaneous. It is an outpouring of love. It is not an act of compulsion. I say this because you have used this expression, have to. Will I have to? You cannot force yourself to forgive. It is not like one of the 10 commandments of God that you have to forgive. No, you are not making a deal with yourself. It's not a condition that when you forgive, then the mind finds some peace. Does it? For example, you have some problem with your friends or with your family, with your father, mother, brother, sister, or your friend. Maybe it is an intimate relationship, and you feel that he or she has said or done something that has offended you. You feel bitter, full of resentment, angry, seething inside. A lot of grief and sadness and tears are there. So you say to yourself and to that person and to the world that I forgive. And you say that with some condition, that if I forgive, then my mind will find peace. Will it? The moment you say I forgive, will your resentment, your bitterness, your anger, your sense of hurt disappear? So that is not the way. Do not force yourself to do something. Have to seems to be a force. It is not a realization that has come from inside. Second point, let us now take an example when it is easier to forgive. Suppose some misunderstanding has happened, some argument, some acrimony has happened, and then the other person has gone back, and you are feeling that your mind has become very heavy. You are constantly thinking what has been said, why it has been said, because each one of us feels that I am right. That is why there is so much problem. Most of us feel that I am right and the other is wrong. So there is these waves that are coming all the time within you, and you're not able to cope with it. You want to say something, you want to pay back, you want to take revenge. And then after a few days, that person comes back to you and says very humbly, I'm sorry. If I've hurt you, if I've said something or done something to offend you, please don't be upset with me. I'm sorry. Let's be friends again. And then it is easy for you to forgive, because the other person has said sorry. But is that forgiveness transformative. It solves a problem for the time being. The relationship goes back to being normal. But that particular situation in which your friend had come and said sorry and you have forgiven, which is easy to do, it is slightly transformative for that friend, because he or she has softened his ego, has worked on himself, felt that he has made some mistakes, seen his faults within himself, and has come back to you. For you, opposite. You have not changed at all. In fact, now you feel vindicated. Now you feel that you were right from the beginning to the end. The fact that the friend has come back and said sorry makes you feel more right. The ego gets boosted. So the next time in a similar situation, again you will face the same predicament. So in this case, you do forgive, you can forgive, because your ego wins. There is a victory for you, that is why you can forgive. But that forgiveness is not transformative. My third point, let us go a little deep into this. When you have a problem with somebody, when there is an exchange of nasty words and there are bad vibrations between two people who are usually close and intimate, because normally what happens is, among very close relationships, there is a lot of resentment, not in distant relationships, because we have expectations from these relationships, because we have an image of ourselves, because we remember all the things that we have done for the other person. That is why when there is a difference, when there is an argument, then it becomes very nasty, because there is a lot of emotion involved. And when after such an incident you start to feel bad, what is the thing that you can do? Look into yourself. Try to find out what is the actual problem. And the first thing that the mind will say, the other person is the problem. He or she has said all these things or done all these things. Well, that is the first thing, that is the natural thing for the mind to say. The mind will find an excuse so that it will not be blamed. You see? So, see that excuse, that is the first instinctive reaction, that we are right and the other is wrong. See that, ignore it, go deeper. Yes, the other person has said and done something. Okay, that is the other person's problem. Maybe he has done something wrong to your eyes. That is his problem. What is your problem? Your problem is that you feel hurt. You feel offended. You feel humiliated. You feel betrayed. You feel backstabbed. Which part of you is feeling this? It is your mind. It is your emotion. It is your ego. It is your image, your constructed image of yourself that is feeling this hurt, this anger, this resentment. But is it you, the one who you actually are, the one who is trying to observe where I have been hurt? That is the real you. So some emotions have been hurt, some expectations, some image which has been constructed over a period of time. That I am a good friend, I have always been nice to that person. Now why he has behaved like this? So it's all about me and I, and it's all about the image. the ego, the desires, the expectations. So when you go deep, try to see the root, what actually makes you feel bad. And then you will realize that your individuality can be vulnerable. And the problem is that you are identified with that constructed individuality. You think that individuality to be I, the real I. That is the problem. When you realize this, then the problems start to disappear automatically. Because then you see that you are the sky of consciousness, and these emotions and these thoughts and these reactions are just clouds, which does not have any effect on the sky. When the wind starts to blow, the clouds disappear. When you distance yourself from your thoughts and your emotions, when you detach yourself from your constructed individuality, then all these problems, the seeds of these problems, start to disappear. You realize that when there is a mind, it will be vulnerable. When there are emotions, the emotions are always vulnerable. When there is an ego, it is vulnerable. But when you observe them from a distance, it is amusing. And when you see the vulnerability of the mind in yourself, you also realize others, in this case the friend, has also a vulnerable individuality, has also a brittle nature. He or she also has a mind which can break. He also has emotions, thoughts, ideas, life situations, which can make him feel cornered, insecure. And that's why there may be some outburst, because he cannot cope with himself. He cannot cope with these waves that are coming in his heart. So maybe he sometimes cross the limit and say things and do things without realizing that it might be offensive to somebody else. When you see this, when do you see this? When you have seen your own vulnerability from a distance, from the standpoint of a witness, then you can also see the vulnerability of someone else. When you see that, then there is only love. Forgiveness happens naturally. You don't have to try and forgive. You don't have to take a conscious decision, okay, I forgive all the bad things that you have done to me. You don't have to take such a decision. It's an outpouring of love. It's an expression of compassion. Because you feel the oneness with existence and also with that friend, where different natures are there, and there may be some conflict, but at the deeper level, we are all one. So this is the only way. Do not think of shortcuts. Always start with yourself. Whenever there is a problem, and whenever you want to deal with that problem, the first thing, the first instinct for us is to look outside. Reverse that. Look inside. See where they come from. And the moment you start seeing, that is the resolution. That is the solution. You don't have to do anything about it. You don't have to tell yourself, okay, let me take the seeds out and throw them. You don't have to do that. They will automatically disperse. And love and compassion and bliss will arise within you. And then forgiveness is natural. Well, this was the first question. The second query has come from Michelangelo, and he says, what is the difference between a guru, a sadguru, and a cheater? Is it possible to test a guru when you meet him for the first time by asking him a taste of samadhi? Well, Michelangelo, you know very well who a cheater is. And cheaters are not only found in the spiritual path, they are found everywhere, in every aspect, in every walk of life. There are cheaters among doctors, among teachers, among politicians, among businessmen, among professionals, among footballers, among stars. There are cheaters everywhere. So also in the spiritual, let's say, realm, not in the spiritual path, but in the spiritual world, there are cheaters. Why are there cheaters? Because most of us, most of the people who pretend to be seekers are actually magic hunters. They are miracle seekers. They are not really spiritual seekers. They are looking for people who will give them a shortcut to spiritual enlightenment. People who will preach that they will raise your kundalini within 7 days. People who will say that within 3 days he will give you samadhi. That kind of cheater is everywhere because there is a demand for them. There is a market for them. You see? So that is why there are cheaters. So don't only blame the cheater, also look at the person or the people who are running for these cheaters. They do not really actually want the real thing. They want some magic to happen. They will close their eyes and see some vision, they will feel a trembling, they will go on a high like a drug. For them, there are cheaters. And these cheaters work for them. It works for them, it's good for them. Now the difference between a guru and a sadguru. Well, sat or sad means the truth, the ultimate truth. One who knows the truth and one who has attained or has been granted the divine authority to show others the path is a sadguru. A guru can also be a sadguru, but in a general sense, a guru is somebody who will clear the confusion in our minds, the confusions of thoughts and concepts and ideas. Most of us are so full of words and thoughts and ideas about life that we have incorporated while growing up through the family and society and media, etc., education, that our head is totally cluttered. So a guru helps to clear the confusion and make us more transparent, make us more innocent, ready for the path, to take the path, simple way, in a direct, straightforward manner. He will be able to sort of bring some light into the darkness of our vague understanding. Now, whether he will be able to enkindle the fire within us, to enlighten us, to help us, to show us the path to the last boundaries, that depends whether he is a sadguru or not. But he may be a good guide even if he is not a sadguru. There are many good gurus around the world who do not give initiation particularly, but who give a concept about life and spirituality and sadhana. They also might, a guru might give you some methods and help you to teach you some techniques of meditation or devotion or discrimination, but he will not take responsibility for you. That is the difference between a Sadguru and a Guru. He will not be there for you till the end. He will show you the way in his own way. He will show you some techniques so that you can make some kind of a spiritual progress, and then he will leave you at that. Leave you with your own destiny, own fate. But a Sadguru, once he takes control, once he gives you the initiation, he also takes responsibility for lifetimes till you become totally free, till you attain complete enlightenment or nirvana. He is there for you. Because the Sadguru can distinguish between individuals. He doesn't give the same teaching to everybody. He can distinguish individual nature, what path is suited for whom. So that is, in short, the difference between a Sadguru, a Guru and a cheater. And now your second part of the question, that can you test your Guru by asking him to give you a taste of Samadhi? This is a very juvenile and a childish question. That shows that these kind of questions are asked by people who deserve cheaters to be their teachers. I will ask you a counter question. What is Samadhi? What do you think is Samadhi? Can you explain? Has anybody till this moment been able to define Samadhi? Because can it be defined? Is there somebody in Samadhi to define the experience? Number one. Number two, what do you mean by taste? Who will taste? You think your mind will have a taste of Samadhi? Mind does not exist after the pituitary, after the Agga chakra, after this chakra. The mind does not exist. Do you think you will feel something inside? Feeling does not exist. All these are temporary things. The mind is born and the mind dies. Feelings are born and feelings die. And Samadhi, we are talking about an immortal experience, an immortal oneness. So who will taste Samadhi? And what do you mean? That you get a taste and then you come back and you forget all about Samadhi? You come back being ignorant? Is that possible? Do you really need a Guru after you get Samadhi? After you get a so-called taste of Samadhi, do you need a Guru after that? For what? You know Samadhi. When somebody has experienced Samadhi, he is always in Samadhi. Even if he is walking around, talking and smiling and eating and sleeping and chatting and drinking wine, he is always in Samadhi. That is what Samadhi means. Samadhi is a state of being. Samadhi is consciousness. Samadhi is when the river of individual life merges in the ocean of bliss. That is Samadhi. And from that ocean you come back to being a river and saying that I want to find the ocean. So this is a very foolish question. What do you mean? That you will test your Guru? How can you test your Guru? At what level are you to test somebody of that level? Somebody who has a great experience, lifetimes of evolution, maybe thousands of lifetimes ahead of you, and you will test him. How can you say that? It is like saying that an 8-year-old kid will go to the school and test his teachers and find out which teacher is good for me. Does that happen? Or is it the contrary? Is it the opposite? The teacher tests the student and then decides whether I will teach him, whether he is fit for my class. So forget about testing gurus, because once you start getting into this trap, it will go on forever, endlessly. Even to the last day of your life, you will be trying to test some guru to find out whether you should take some Diksha or initiation from that person. This will go on forever. When you are really interested in spirituality, if you really want to go deep inside and seek the truth of your life, just do that. And then you will become a magnet which will attract the guru who is meant for you. Be absolutely certain about that. And if you really want to know that how will you feel inside, well, this person is my guru. Well, it's a much more subtle thing than tasting and testing. It's like when you are in front of your guru, it's like you are facing a mirror where for glimpse, for seconds, you see yourself. It's like you feel a bond, closer and more intimate than any other bonds in life, than any other relationships in life. Much deeper, much closer, much intimate. You feel as if this person understands me better than I understand myself, better than my mother ever did, better than all the friends put together. This person knows me inside out. You feel it. Inside you feel it. It's a very subtle feeling. Even to feel these things, you have to evolve. I hope I've been able to give you a satisfactory answer. Well, that is all for today. We'll be back with our third episode soon. Thank you and namaskar.